Attention everybody, the views expressed on this show are not necessarily those of Acts Ministry, Acts Media Group, and or their affiliate and subordinate ministries and or nonprofits. So, without any further ado, it's the Morning Mouth with Johnny Rooster and Pastor Matt.
Howdy, folks.
I could listen to that all
Bring
day
me
long.
back to the farm days, brother.
So, good morning,
Good
Johnny Rooster.
morning. Wow, what a beautiful...
Mr. Cockadoodle-Doo over
getting
there.
up and at it this morning, stretchy.
Yeah, because we know it's at least 7:30.
Grab your coffee, chug it down.
Gulp, gulp, gulp.
You might need some extra this morning, and that's what we're here to bring you, some extra things you don't normally hear, stuff you don't always listen to. A little different today as every day on
The
the
Morning Mouth
Morning Mouth.
with the artwork done by Johnny Rooster himself over there.
Something to crow about. That's what we're all about here. We want to talk about the things that other people aren't willing or able or understanding. All the good stuff.
All the good stuff.
All the stuff that's at the bottom of the corn bin.
Yeah, and you know, the bottom sometimes can be the best.
Save the best till last. I eat my grape nuts a lot. I love grape nuts. You know, it's dusty at the bottom of the grape nuts box.
It is.
That dust is some good gold.
Yeah, the only thing I don't like is whenever you're pouring cereal, you get to the bottom of the bag, right?
Yes,
And there's all like the powdery stuff.
the powder.
And when the milk hits it, it's mush.
Mushy. But not with grape nuts. Now,
No,
I'm
but-
saying grape nuts dust is fine dust.
Is it?
Grape nuts has a little more staunch to it. There's a little more grit. In fact, if I were naming that, I would never name it grape nuts.
I didn't know that the nuts were grapes.
There's
Grapes
neither
were
nuts nor grapes in grape nuts, so I'm very confused by this. I would call it gluten gravel.
Gluten gravel.
Gluten gravel, it's more honest, it's more to the point.
So it's not gluten-free then?
No, absolutely not. It's full of wheat and stuff.
Well,
You know,
I mean,
barley.
don't they make gluten-free cereals?
But not with grape nuts. Not with my grape nuts, anyway. I mean, they're gluten gravel.
How do you?
That's just the way I eat.
I about said, well, how do you know the gender of the
Yeah.
grape? I mean,
How do you? Why would you peel grapes, anyway?
yeah, you know, I was wondering that myself.
Well, a lot of people, they wake up and they want to hear something unusual. Well, I've got something unusual for you folks today.
Those guys there?
Right out there in listening land. And it's great to have you all on board today. My name is Johnny Rooster, and this is my sidekick, Pastor Matt,
Yes,
a man of the cloth.
yes. Sometimes, you know, and just to let everybody
Let
know,
them know what your...
not everybody's cloth is pristine and clean.
Well, what kind of...
You have to constantly wash the cloth.
Pastor Matt, what kind of credentials do you have as a reverend?
I am an ordained pastor through Acts Ministry Church International, and Acts Ministry, Acts Media Group, and all that.
And sometimes these listeners, they jump on, they're new, and they're not quite familiar with Acts Ministry, so we
Right.
might give them a little rundown about what that is.
Okay, so Acts Ministry, we are a worldwide ministry, and our motto. Sorry, I'm
We
scratching.
go as
my
far as Nixa, Missouri,
yeah, well, actually, we have listeners constantly in Germany,
Germany.
China. There's some listeners in China. The Real News Review is actually a newspaper that you can find on ActsMediaGroup.com.
You've got to scratch and speak at the same time,
Yes.
my friend. It's in
Sorry,
the
I had
barnyard.
an itch in my ankle, and I just couldn't
in
get
the
it to
barnyard, we're always a
Yeah.
scratching and scratching.
I don't have fleas. No, they left. They took the circus
the
away
wicked flea. It's
from
mentioned in the Bible.
Right. So what we do is we have ActsRadio.com. We have our Acts Media Group, which you guys are watching on either our Facebook channel or our YouTube channel right now.
Depends
as
on
we
what
speak.
brand you like, Facebook or YouTube.
Well, you know,
Are they kind of the same thing? Or are they?
you know, Facebook is. I'm not going to talk bad about Facebook because we're using this platform.
Hi, Facebook.
Hi, Facebook.
Mark Zuckerberg's watching.
He's watching everybody. You know, he needs to fire his barber. I know that. I don't even know if we're allowed to actually
I don't know,
mention his
but
name.
we did. I mean,
I might have
is he
to
a brand?
I might have to mute that whenever this is actually playing.
Mark Beeperberg.
Just like whenever I
It like doesn't really bleep it out. It's
like
just
I used yeah.
like Mark Beeperberg.
You know what's really funny? And
A lot of things are funny, like you getting a phone call in the middle of a show.
I
Now that's funny.
I'm sending him a message, right? That was
Mark?
Tom Whining.
Oh, okay.
And that that happens. People don't realize.
They don't respect your airtime. Okay, if you
well,
guys
no,
are
they
out
don't.
there,
They don't know about all the air. They don't know about all the air.
There's so much quality material coming out of Axe Media Group that, I mean, even this early morning, you folks get out there and you get safe. Okay, you be watching for those other drivers. If you live in the Ozarks in Missouri, you got to be watching.
Yeah.
Both eyes.
They have, I think, some of the worst drivers in the world.
I have seen it myself. I've even participated.
I lived in Jacksonville, Florida for a long time, and then I moved
It's a
back
bigger
here.
place, bigger.
And the quality of drivers is amazingly different.
Well, we're
Like the drivers,
homegrown drivers.
well, the drivers in Florida are better drivers.
And tell me why and how. How is that possible?
I don't know.
There's more of them.
It's like people drive the speed limit, or actually 5 miles over.
Just like they're supposed to.
They don't really crowd you as much as they do here. Here, I mean, I think we're just full of some super impatient people.
Signal use is not really known here.
No.
You turn on a signal when you change lanes, guys. In case you didn't know, that might be a little point to make to the drivers out there. Signal as you're changing lanes, and then turn it off when you've changed lanes.
Yeah, see, mine.
Just an idea.
Mine.
Not to be
Most
preachy.
vehicles have a little alarm that goes off whenever you have your blinker on for too long.
That's true.
And
I don't like to be preachy, but I think they should turn that thing off when they change lanes. Then turn it off. Don't leave it on. No, now, Pastor Matt, that is a strategy of mine, though. Leave the signal on so that they never know if you're going to change lanes.
Right,
And
and
weave a little bit.
I've caught myself before
Yeah.
driving all the way down Sunshine Avenue.
That's in Springfield, Missouri.
Sunshine Street. Oh, that's right out front
That's
here.
a nice, busy
almost all the way to where I turn off on West Bypass, and I look down and my blinker's been on the whole time because I use my blinker when I get over into the other lane.
But you just fail to cancel it out.
Do you ever use your blinker in the parking lots?
That's a.
Do you catch yourself?
I have
doing it?
not done that, but I'm thinking about when I'm turning into my own driveway. I do that.
Yeah.
I live on a dead end rural road.
Yeah. So do I.
And it's fun because out there with the chickens and the cows,
Are you out west of town?
I'm out east of town. I'm in the east
Oh, so
side.
you're the complete
Yeah,
opposite.
you
I'm
talk
7
about-
miles west of Springfield.
Yes, I'm remotely east. So we are probably needing an interpreter. That's how far we live from each other.
Yeah.
I don't even speak the same language.
Who? What?
Huh? So I was going to tell you, if
said
you
you had
want to
something
say
cool to
something,
say?
we had something really cool, unusual stuff here. On Johnny Rooster wants to present something that you don't hear every day.
He's referring to himself in the third person.
And that's me.
the third chicken.
It's like Elmo. Elmo talks about Elmo. Never mind about that. So here we go. This is what I want to share. There's a topic I wanted to talk about today, and it's friendship with men. Now, that's almost a mic drop because most men, they don't want to talk about friendship because it's too touchy-feely.
We're guys.
Yeah,
we're
guys.
Yeah.
So there's this topic of friendship that was getting at me, and my personal story, I'll share this, was revealed in a book that I wrote. So I wrote this book, and that's what I wanted to share. It's like people didn't know that about the rooster. I wrote a book called,
I bet it's written in chicken scratch.
well, I scratched around. It's called Unlikely Friend.
Unlikely friend.
You can find it on Amazon if that's what you're wanting to do, or wherever they park
Kind of
books.
like a lion and a lamb
That's
being
it.
friends. Unlikely
Unlikely friend, because I found somebody, finally, I made a specific effort to find a friend. You see, my best friend had died. It was a car accident
Sorry to
years
hear that.
earlier. It was an unfortunate event. But after that, I found myself more of a surface kind of person that didn't have that depth that you can't really open up to them. You know what I mean?
Right.
A lot of guys are that way. Like, hey, man, how's it going? And they talk about the stuff that's in front of them, but they never really get down to heart-to-heart communication.
Right.
Now, this kind of thing, I'm going to tell you, it can strangle you. It can make you a wasteland because you're always isolating. This is the person I was. I was 40 years old. I found myself pretty much only surrounded by acquaintances. I knew hundreds of people by name, but never did really get to interact with them, go to their house.
Right.
They didn't come over to my house. It wasn't that kind of friendship. So I found myself...
Same as work friends.
Superficial, exactly. So I had church friends. I was very involved in church. It was a big thing for me. I loved it, but I didn't have that deeper walk with any other guy. I was like, okay, as couples, and my wife and I, we could go with them, and they could do the husband-wife together thing, but never one guy just having a good time with another guy as a friend.
Yeah, that's hard to find.
There's some guys out there like that. Some
Yeah.
guys can relate to this. And what I did was I took a survey of guys that I knew, and I talked to 80 of them from different cross-section of life. These 80 guys responded to the question, do you have a close personal male friend with whom you can share deeper life issues?
Right.
And about 50 out of 80 said, yes, I do. And the second question was, where did you find this close personal friend with whom you can share deeper life issues? Those that said they did, they found them at school, church, work, someplace along the way that was earlier. It wasn't recent. Okay, I'm talking to guys, average age was 40 to 55. Okay,
Wow.
This is the age I was reaching out to my peer group. They had found a friend earlier in life and stayed with that friend, but didn't consider themselves as the person that would make a new close friend today.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Matt, but have you had an experience where you find yourself being superficial, or it's just talking about what's in front of you, but it's never really heart to heart? That's a struggle. A lot of Christian men, especially.
Well, I mean, you know, my best friend. First of all, if you have a bunch of best friends, you don't really have a bunch of best friends.
Right. They can't all be in that category.
Like there's a couple of people, like Jason or Jay from the Morning Drive.
Yeah.
But you'll be watching here in just about
You'll be watching
20 minutes or so.
Yeah.
He's my best friend. We connect on a real
Heart
to heart. We guide each other. We help each other in any way, shape, or form. We encourage one another, and in a sense, we pastor one another.
Okay.
And
Pastor Matt getting pastored.
By Pastor Jay.
And that's what you do when you're on the highway. I just pastor.
Yeah, pastor on the left. So yeah, that's as far as like making best friends. I think I'm too lazy to make another best friend.
You know, a lot of the guys that responded to that question said, I wouldn't really want to go to all that work. And it looks like a lot of effort to become a friend, other than we're not 5 years old. We're not on the playground saying,
feel
hey,
like
can
effort.
you be my friend?
It shouldn't feel like effort, though. You know what I mean?
I think it does, though.
It does maybe sometimes, but it shouldn't feel like effort.
No, when I found a personal friend that was close, it didn't look like I'm walking through steps to become a friend. It didn't feel like I'm going through a formula.
It just happens. Should happen naturally. Mm-hmm. What do they call that? Not ergonomically. I mean, I guess sort of.
Yeah. But it's natural to do
organically.
That. But I'm not sure if there's a formula to find a friend, because that sounds scripted anyway.
Now, remind me to tell you about a book that you can read in that regard as well. After the show. I mean, I don't have written permission from the particular pastor that wrote it, but it talks about, 5 different languages. That's all I'm going to say about
that.
There
you go. Yes, a wonderful
but
reference.
They have them for romance friends and all kinds of stuff.
Certainly.
But yeah, it's I never really thought about it.
Yeah, on the book I wrote, it was different. That's what I'm saying. On this Rooster Morning Mouth, we talk about stuff that most people, they've not really thought through it that much.
Right,
so, that's the full point. When you're eating corn, like the roosters do, you don't want to eat all the corn that everybody else eats. You just eat your own corn, and that's what we're doing here today.
Yeah. Unless someone drops an egg on the floor, then you go crazy.
Corn and eggs, then you just go nuts.
You ever seen chickens go crazy when you drop an egg and break it? They eat that so fast.
Cannibalism.
They fight over that.
Oh, man.
I mean, they won't eat them unless they're broken.
No,
they see that yolk and there's something primal within them.
Yes.
They go after it.
I think
we used to have a chicken house.
It's almost like they're eating what they're made of.
Yeah. That's another thing that's pretty interesting if you think about whenever you make breaded chicken.
Wow.
So you're basically dipping you're dipping a skinned dead chicken in the fluids of an unborn chicken.
Yes.
And then breading it and frying it.
And we like that. That's what we call food.
Sorry, that's
another very important call coming in.
I mean, that's my dad, so yeah.
The boards are lighting up.
He's super important. That's another one of my best friends. I consider my dad my best friend.
That's a good thing. A lot of people have a connection that's a little bit distant from parents. So being able to say that is important. But I'm going to reach out to these listeners here, to viewers. I'm going to say this. We don't, as men, we don't have a good avenue to become a good friend if we're middle of our life. That was my audience. If we're between 40 and 50, it's harder to just start the friendship, the deeper friendship.
Cynical. We become cynical.
Well, we've already been there, done that, or we have these preconceived ideas about people, and now we're locked into work and family or whatever we do, and we shield ourselves from true friendship. And what do I mean by that? A true friend is another man that you can share heart to heart, a deeper life issue with a hurt, a celebration, a victory, a tragedy, a struggle, and not feel condemned.
Right.
And not feel like you're going to be in an accountability environment where they're going to tell on you. It's going to be safe, but it's going to be productive. It's not going to just whine with you. It's not going to gossip and cry with you. It's going to build you up.
Right.
That's a friend.
It's going to wash your feet.
It's different than just that run-of-the-mill, hey, how's it going? Love the weather, hate the weather, like the Super Bowl.
Small talk.
Whatever the small talk is. So small talk had eaten me up. I was surrounded by friends, and in my book I call it Unlikely Friend. It's my journey of how I reached out deliberately. I surveyed 80 men on how they found a friend. They didn't really find one recently. They'd already had their friend, or some of them said, I don't have a close personal friend like that. I wish I did. And others said, I don't think that's even possible. And I'm
so
here
that's
to
cynicism there.
I'm here to say, I don't care who you are or what your personality, it is possible to find a close male friend. If you're a Christian man, you can find another close friend if you don't have one.
And, so you do have to put forth effort in the beginning of it.
Absolutely.
I mean, any relationship, whether it be romantic or otherwise, is going to take
It's definitely an effort.
Work.
The funny part, the different part, here's this thing, the rooster part, I'm going to call it. This is the part that's different from the rest. I contacted 40 guys on my list of contacts on my phone, and I deliberately sent them a text message saying, hey, do you want to go do such and such? Just reaching out to them. But it was so random. It was so out of the blue, they didn't know what I meant. I was starting to, I was deliberately wanting to replace a loss that I felt from losing my best friend. He and I could share anything. I missed it, man. I missed having the camaraderie, the really laugh it up at anything. We used to do stuff. My friend, his name was Dan. He and I bought some wigs when we were in our 20s. We had these shoulder-length rock star wigs. It was hilarious. And we walked through the mall in Springfield, and some people thought they were real. It was back in the 80s, so people thought, these are rock stars. These are our icons. And other people were laughing, knowing it was fake. But we enjoyed that. Some people got it, and some people didn't.
Yeah.
You don't do that with everybody. You can't just start up that kind of friendship.
Whenever I was in high school, he was one of my best friends. I had a couple of best friends, and we were at the mall, and we decided it would be funny to watch people react as we went literally holding hands, skipping through the mall.
Oh my gosh.
And the looks we got from people were hilarious.
Wow.
Hilarious. And we're straight.
Yeah. Yep.
No worries.
Skipping through the mall.
We were literally holding hands, skipping through. And I wasn't like as big as I am today, but I was still a big guy.
Yeah.
And this guy happened to look like Beaky Buzzard from the Looney Tunes.
Oh my God.
With the huge Adam's apple and a kind of a big pointy nose. Still
Video
good friend
worthy.
to this day, but and another thing about real good friends, like if you have a friend that's a true best friend.
Yeah.
If you stop talking for a while, life goes by.
Yeah.
Life moves.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't have time to talk to people. But then whenever you start talking, it's like you never stop talking.
Right back up where
it's
you
like,
left
hey,
off.
you don't have that. I haven't talked to you in a long time. That's so mean. If someone gets onto you and yells at you and tries to make you feel bad for not talking to them, are they really truly your friend?
Right. So that's so petty because real friends don't have to. The time lapse, it doesn't matter.
Like one of my, I got like 3 best friends. My best friend Kevin. He's one of the ones that helped us with expanding this, and we would go months at a time without talking to one another.
Yeah.
He's a truck driver.
Yeah.
And I work overnights. It's just difficult.
Yes.
Our timing was off. Sometimes he'd call me whenever I wasn't. I was sleeping.
Yeah.
And I wasn't in a place, and then I would call him while he was driving and. Can't really talk on the phone. Let's face it, you shouldn't be talking on the phone when you're driving. It's distracting. Anyways, but once we actually connect and we hang out and stuff, it's like we never stopped talking. It's like we never. That's real friendship.
Yes, and I know that's true. That's the reason I wrote this book, Unlikely Friend, is because I was friendless because I only knew people by name and knew who they were in the small talk. I couldn't get past the small talk, and I had tried. After I reached out to those 40 guys, 40 of them, nobody understood what I meant.
Really?
I was all about, oh no, maybe it's me. And I say this in the introduction, I just say, everyone I talk to about the topic in this book says it's a great idea. Show middle-aged, married Christian men how I got a true friend and teach them how they can get one too. So first, this is what I have a more urgent reason for this book. 2 men I knew very well took their lives recently. One was a successful executive with a loving family and a prominent church life. Another was a creative guru in the independent filmmaking industry with a loyal following. One was 50 and one was 47. And all of us are just a decision away from personal disaster. Read this book. You need a friend.
Yeah.
So that's
you got to have somebody to talk to.
I mean, it's really, you cannot close off. You cannot. The guys that I know that took their life, they closed off. There was something in their life that they couldn't share. It was not what they were willing to share, and they were gone. And I believe that's a very big call to men. Men, you have an obligation to be accessible. Don't be like too busy. I've heard that word so much. Matt, I don't know about you, but busy, busy, busy. That's what people will say when they don't understand what you want. Oh, I'd like to get together, but I'm real busy. They just simply don't understand what you want, and you've got to be clear.
Yeah.
Hey, I want some time with you. I value time with you.
Yeah.
Really? They'd be surprised at that, and they'd like it.
Yeah.
Any man could be your friend if you open the door like that. Hey, I value time with you. I value your opinion. Could we please get together?
And you know, my cousin and I, Jay, he's also my brother in Christ. My brother, I call him brother cousin.
Bro, cuz.
All right, we make sure that each other knows that we're thinking about the other. You know, he says, like out of the blue, he'll say, Matt, I cherish my friendship with you. I cherish my time that I have with you. I cherish you.
Very valuable.
And that's not. I mean, guess it's weird
it's
from
not
other
a
people
typical
looking.
guy. You know, like guys are like, what?
Because guys are like,
time?
oh, macho.
Oh,
no. I was like, I cherish you too, brother.
Yeah.
You know, because I do.
Yes.
I do.
There's something about male friendship in the Christian community especially, but about 2 men that connect that's very special, very authentic.
Right. I mean, let's face it. Men and women are different
Yes.
in their thought processes. There's nothing. There's nothing wrong with that.
You can't just say my wife is my comrade and I disclose everything to her. Great, but it's not the same.
No, it's
on
not.
a level of friendship, it's not the same.
No, because let's face it, women aren't men.
They process differently, and
Men
as
aren't
they
women.
should.
Now that may offend some people, and I apologize if we do. Just again,
Actually,
that's
Johnny
our
Rooster,
opinion.
Johnny
That's our
Rooster just
opinion.
talks about Johnny Rooster stuff, and it doesn't matter. Life is life. Men and women are different.
Yeah,
And they
Let's
need
face it.
different friendships.
Yeah. Whatever your sexual orientation is, or whatever you identify as, we're not worried about any of that.
We're talking about
We're
friendship.
going to love you regardless. But friendship between 2 men
needs to be beyond the
Yeah.
events. Like I mentioned in this book, don't just talk about your events, your sports, your hobbies, whatever.
talk about the boring times
Do
too.
something that's going. I'm learning this. What do you think? What's
Yeah.
your opinion? Guys don't usually say that. Usually, one of them pointed out. There's a source in this book called was referencing men want to feel competent. They want to be competent. That's why bullies happen in school because they don't feel competent in sports, so they're picked on.
Yeah.
Or they don't feel confident in another area, they get ridiculed. Now, as a grown man, we don't feel competent if we're in the medical profession. We don't like the legal profession because they're at odds. So they have
right.
Then if you're in the construction trades, you don't feel competent with the professionals.
Right.
Whatever that means. So now if we're Christian men in a circle and we're having coffee, you find out one's a doctor, one's a lawyer, and one's in construction. Those 3 don't really want to talk.
No, because they don't.
They're branded differently.
Yeah.
And I'm saying erase that.
Yeah.
Be a man and be a friend to all of them.
Yeah.
Talk to them.
You know, be a shoulder for your buddy to cry on.
Just open up to them. Listen to them.
It's all right for men to cry on other men's shoulders.
And it's okay to talk and listen and really think about, oh, I never thought of it that way.
Right.
Don't be so competent. Like, oh, I've got this. I got this.
And I think the word you're looking for is proud. Pride is...
It's a big thing.
It is.
I think my pride is kind of what I get up every morning. I put on my shirt as my pride shirt, and I walk around saying, "Look how great I am," and I don't know it. And I've rubbed off on people like, "Look
Have I
at
told
that
you how
arrogant
humble
guy."
I am?
Yeah,
I'm super humble.
And so long I've gone through life thinking about myself first, always, that I just didn't even realize that. And then I had this pride and this arrogance, and it came with it. cynicism and ridicule, and that's why men don't want to get close after age 40 especially. I'm talking
Right.
to them.
Yeah. Well, it's about time.
It's threatening to not have a good friend, but I tell you what, it's rewarding if you can find somebody.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's up to you to do it.
It
It's
is
up to
up
you
to
to
you.
make that first step.
Take that
and,
first step.
And don't take that first step in the wrong direction because you're driving to work. I hope you get there safe.
All right. Well, hey, Rooster, we are out of time.
Woo! A lot
Boy,
of stuff we never hear on the regular stuff.
That 25 minutes goes by pretty
It
quick.
zooms by,
So
just like a ride to work.
I'm going to start playing our outro music, which will be some
I'm
of the
gonna
intro
grab
music.
that harmonica
You know?
and accompany the banjo here in a moment.
Yeah, that's always fun.
That would be fun. Here we go. Clap along with us, y'all. Unless you're driving.
So thank you everybody for joining the Morning Mouth with Johnny Rooster and Pastor Matt. You never know when you're going to see us again popping up on your timeline.
And you never know what you're going to hear either.
That's right. So tune in next time on the Morning Mouth with Johnny Rooster and Pastor Matt. Bye, everybody.
Adios.